Okay, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon to you for those who are, the majority are in India, I imagine. Welcome to this webinar on qualification as a solicitor in England and Wales by myself. I'm Hemant Chauhan, on the series of webinars that we're doing with MyLaw. Firstly, I would like to just thank MyLaw for their participation and our collaboration with them from Barbri's side. So thank you very much to MyLaw. This webinar is all going to be focused on qualification as an English solicitor, which is becoming very, very popular in the world, not only, of course, just for UK law graduates, but for foreign lawyers, such as Indian lawyers, of course, who want to move abroad and practice in England, or just have the license as an English solicitor, which has many benefits for them from an international perspective, and just to help you develop your career in an international legal career. So I'm just going to share my screen. Just helping. So I'm focusing on two programs that Barbri offers for aspiring solicitors. Firstly is the Qualified Lawyers Transfer Scheme, which is designed for foreign lawyers, such as Indian lawyers, who want to qualify as a solicitor in England and Wales. And later on in the presentation, I'll be talking about the Solicitors Qualifying Exam, the SQE in short, which is going to be the new qualification that will be implemented by the SRA, that is the regulatory body in England, to govern the new qualification, which is by the SQE for aspiring solicitors. So we're going through a very massive change in English qualification, but also at the very same time, it's exciting to see these new changes being implemented. And I think it's going to do a world of wonder for many who want to qualify as a solicitor. But firstly, I'll focus on the QLTS. So firstly, to be eligible for the QLTS, you need to be a qualified lawyer in your home jurisdiction. So if you're an Indian qualified lawyer or you're a qualified lawyer anywhere else in the world, you will likely be eligible to sit the QLTS assessments. Your home jurisdiction must be recognized by the SRA. On their website, you could see they have a list of recognized jurisdictions. Most of the world's jurisdictions are listed on there. India, of course, is recognized there. The US, Pakistan, most parts of Europe, China, for example, as well, are all recognized jurisdictions by the SRA, which qualifies you to be eligible for the QLTS. And there's no restrictions to admission on the grounds of where you're from, where you live, what languages you speak, doesn't matter, which makes it a very welcoming profession, and it recognizes anyone who really wants to qualify as a solicitor can do the QLTS, as long as, of course, you're qualified in your home jurisdiction. Now, what are the key differences between the QLTS, which is the existing qualification, and the SQE, which will be implemented next year in 2021? Well, firstly, both assessments are very much the same. You have QLTS Stage 1, which is the MCT on English law, and you have SQE Stage 1, which is a multiple choice test on English law. And then you have QLTS Stage 2, which is the OSCE, which is a practical exam which you sit in London, testing you on legal skills such as legal drafting, legal research, and legal writing. And then you have the second stage of the SQE, which is also very much the same on legal skills, legal research, legal drafting, advocacy, client interviewing, and all that. However, the salient difference is that the SQE is much longer than the QLTS in the first stage. SQE Stage 1 will cover 360 multiple choice test questions, whereas the MCT, the first stage of the QLTS, only tests you on 180. So it's shorter than the SQE Stage 1. And there's more subjects that are covered in the SQE Stage 1 as well, as opposed to the QLTS. And also the SQE does require you to have an English language proficiency, and you must also evidence 2 years of qualifying work experience to qualify as a solicitor via the SQE. The QLTS has no training, contract, or work experience requirement. Once you pass the QLTS assessments, you can apply straight for admission as a solicitor. And further, it is more expensive to do the SQE than the QLTS. So the advice that Barbri is given to all international lawyers, Indian lawyers, and other lawyers around the world who want to qualify as a solicitor is to do the QLTS as soon as possible before it's too late. There is a lot of change that's going to be undertaken in 2021 with the invitation of the SQE. And so it is in international lawyers' best interest to get through the QLTS before it's simply too late to do it. Now, the structure of the QLTS, as I said, is the first stage is a multiple choice test. Second stage is the OSCE. First stage is 180 multiple choice questions of English law. It's offered twice a year in July and January. And you must pass the MCT before proceeding to the OSCE, which is the second stage. Now, the last MCT sitting of the QLTS is July 2021. Now, it would obviously be, if you're an international lawyer or an Indian qualified lawyer for that matter, you would need to want to do the QLTS Stage 1 in either January or July 2021 before it's simply too late. After that, it will be too late to do the QLTS. Once you've passed the MCT stage of the QLTS, you have up until May 2022 to do the OSCE. Now that is offered usually November and May each year. However, because there is so much popularity in the QLTS now, because of this short time frame to get through it all, Kaplan, who are the exam assessors, have offered an additional session in July. So they offered one in July 2020. They'll probably be doing one next year as well in July 2021, and maybe the following year after that, July 2022, although they haven't said it. They'll do a session in July 2022. But we anticipate that they will do in July 2022. However, to be on the safe side, as long as you pass the MCT of the QLTS, you can take the OSCE no later than May 2022. But you would probably want to get through it sooner to be on the safe side, and then apply for admission as a solicitor. And then on successful completion of the QLTS, you become a qualified solicitor of England and Wales. Now, the benefits of the QLTS prep that Barbri offers is that it's designed for international lawyers who are working full-time. We recognize that most of our students taking the QLTS are already working full-time lawyers. You have busy practices, you're either working in private practice or in-house, and you have a busy caseload, and you have other commitments, of course, on the side. And most likely, you'll be working more than 40 hours a week on average. So we recognize that. So we've tailored our programs to be flexible to the students. We offer a short, intense 3-month prep course, and we offer a longer 6-month part-time prep course as well. The 6-month course, we estimate about 10 to 15 hours of learning a week. The 3-month course, about 25 to 30 hours of learning a week, if not a little bit more in each week. But it's certainly feasible to get through each of the programs, whichever is suitable to the student, on a part-time basis, and prepare to pass the MCT of the QLTS. Our second stage, the OSCE, we only offer as a 3-month prep course, which is only 20 hours of learning a week. And it's certainly feasible and designed to get you through and be exam ready to pass the assessments. We also give you a one-to-one mentor to give you attention and guidance on the courses. So for the MCT, you're given a bespoke mentor who is English qualified. They're either a practicing solicitor or barrister, or they're a full-time tutor, and they will have access to your progress reports. They know where your strengths or weaknesses are. They know if you're doing great in contracts or maybe you're doing terrible in another area. It could be criminal law, for example, something like that. And they know where best to get your marks up to be exam ready and confident for the assessments. And it's the same for the second exam as well, the OSCE. We give you tutor calls on video calls, and it's all designed to enable the student to practice these assessments and for the tutor to simply give them guidance and feedback on their assessments. So we give you a lot of support from day one of the program. And we give you expert QLTs prep lectures as well. We have a subject matter expert faculty of English solicitors and barristers who really know their stuff. They know what it takes to pass these assessments. So we really give you a quality program to prepare you for success for the QLTS. Now, the SQE, the Solicitors Qualifying Exam, this is arguably, it's been described as the biggest legal shakeup in legal education for a long time. Everyone has been used to the existing route to qualification as a solicitor in England and Wales. Now, the traditional route is you do your LLB, you then progress on to your LPC, and then you qualify, and then you do a training contract and you qualify as a solicitor. Or if you're a non-law student, you do the GDL, the Graduate Diploma in Law, before doing the legal practice course, and then a 2-year training contract before you qualify as a solicitor. The SQE is ramping things up. It's the biggest legal shakeup, as I said before, and the reason why is it's revamping the whole qualification process. It's simply going to be one uniform test for law and non-law students, as well as foreign lawyers and foreign students as well. And you just simply do the assessments. You do your 2 years of qualifying work experience, which has to be in England and supervised by a solicitor, and before you qualify as a solicitor. So it's a new system of qualifying as a solicitor, 2 stages of the assessments. The first stage, which is the multiple choice test on English law. The second stage, which is a legal skills assessment, your qualifying work experience, and that's how you qualify as a solicitor. The first assessments will be available from November 2021 onwards. So it's going to be one uniform test, and I think certainly going to open the doors for many who are struggling to qualify as a solicitor. Now, as I said, your SQE Stage 1 is 360 multiple choice test questions. SQE Stage 2, which is your legal skills assessments. And thirdly, and finally, you do your qualifying work experience. Now, what does qualifying work experience mean? It doesn't mean a formal training contract. It can be any practical work experience obtained in a law firm. It could be paid or non-paid. It could be paralegaling, legal assistant work, compliance work in a financial institution that's supervised by a solicitor. It could be anything of such sorts, as long as it's supervised by a solicitor and it's legal work. Pro bono work will count. Volunteer work in a legal charity of some sort will also count as well. As long as it's 2 years of qualifying work experience signed off by a solicitor, you can then, and you pass both the assessments, you can then apply for admission as a solicitor. So we see this as a very good way of curing that bottleneck. Right now in England, there's a huge saturated market of LLB and LPC graduates who are still paralegaling and unable to find training contracts. The SQE will be that cure, I think, to opening the doors for many. It's going to allow students to be more flexible with how they qualify. The future of legal training is such that before, I think lawyers wanted to specialize early. the SQE is going to be more varied, and you don't have to specialize, during your work experience. You can do a multiple variety of work experience opportunities in various sectors of law, and still qualify as a solicitor without going through a formal training contract, which is very competitive and very difficult to get, particularly because there are more training contract applications than there are training contracts available. So this is going to be a way to cure that. So the SQE is going to bring some exciting changes. And it's the same for foreign lawyers as well. Post 2021, the SQE will be your route to qualification as a solicitor. Now, SQE Stage 1 is focusing on the functioning legal knowledge of mixed subject multiple choice, 2-day exam of 360 questions, and it's going to be computer based. And I believe it's going to, the SRA haven't been clear on this, but I believe it's going to be, it can be sat worldwide in Pearson VUE test centers. But that's subject to change, of course. But we have really strong experience with multiple choice test taking. As many of you know, Barbri are experts in US bar prep, training candidates for becoming qualified attorneys in the US in all the state bar exams. And a large proportion of those state bar exams are multiple choice. Some of them are worth up to 50% off your state bar exam score. So Barbri have been in the business of legal training of over 50 years. So we are experts in multiple choice test taking, which is a skill in itself. Many of us who go to law school are used to essays and written ability and arguments and using long proses and various schools of thought to develop our legal arguments. The multiple choice test taking is a skill in itself, and we can train you for that really well to become excellent test takers for a 2-day exam of the SQE Stage 1. So we have a lot of expertise that we're going to bring to the table for SQE Stage 1 prep. Now, SQE Stage 2 is mirroring the QLTs Stage 2, which is the OSCE, and it's covering these various legal skills that you have to be competent at to practice as a solicitor. So client interviewing, advocacy, case analysis, legal research, legal drafting, all that. And because we've been running the QLTS for a while now, for 2-3 years, we've developed a really strong foundation of that to go into the SQE market and to become really excellent, to train you well to become excellent test takers for this particular assessment. Again, a skill in itself, and we're really strong in developing you in your skills to become confident and to pass this assessment comfortably for the SQE Stage 2, for the legal skills assessment. Now, what are the key features of our SQE prep courses? One, we give you online blended learning. We'll be offering various different packages and programs of different time lengths. Could be as long as it's a 40-week prep course for the SQE Stage 1. Our first course will be beginning in January 2021. We'll be launching enrollments for our SQE Stage 1 at the end of September, so getting ready for that. And we'll be launching a 40-week prep course from January 2021, preparing you for the autumn 2021 assessments. We'll also be offering shorter prep courses, 20-week courses and 10-week courses. Those are more suitable, of course, for law graduates who can study on a full-time basis. The 40-week prep course, of course, is a very part-time course. Perhaps you're working full-time and you just can only study for 40 weeks, or you just feel that you need more time and support to prepare for the SQE, which is all fine as well. Costs will be exactly the same as well. We give you an online personal study plan, as we do in our US bar prep and our QLTS. It will entail all the pre-recorded lectures to prepare you for the SQE. We give you a lot of assessments on it, multiple choice tests taken, and a lot of skills to develop for the assessment. Also, again, we'll offer you one-to-one mentor support, who will be an English solicitor to prepare you for the assessments, with a lot of teaching expertise they'll give you as well. And again, the flexible options will give you part-time or full-time courses, depending on where you are at and how much you can Do any of you have any questions? Thank you for listening. What were the costs involved? Okay, so good question. We haven't finalized the costs yet, but for that is of course for the SQE. QLTs, our MCT prep course costs £1,850, and it's for either the 6 or 3 month prep course. And the second stage, the OSCE, as long as you've taken the MCT with us, it will be £1,950. If you haven't taken the MCT prep course with us, it will be £2,400 for the OSCE. In terms of the exam fees, for the MCT, which is payable towards Kaplan, who are the exam administrators of this assessment, the MCT will cost you £588 plus VAT. So that's just bringing that just over £700. And the second stage, the OSCE, it's pretty hefty. It's just over £3,000 plus VAT. So that's bringing it over £3,600 in total, just under that. So in total, you're looking around £5,000 in exam fees towards Kaplan, and just under £4,000 for our prep courses for the QLTs. So ballpark £10,000 is a good estimate, I think, for this. What is the passing percentage for both the exams? Well, for the MCT, for Kaplan, it's they've estimated the passing rate for the MCT, which is about just over 50%. And our MCT pass rates for the QLTS is about 72%. So we have a strong pass rate for the MCT. And for the OSCE, the pass rate again is just over 50% for the second stage of the QLTS. Our pass rate for the OSCE is 69% again for the OSCE. So we have strong pass rates for the OSCE. As long as you do the work, you can do this for sure. In terms of, and so sure, just going back to your question on the SQE prep courses, we haven't finalized the cost yet because that will be the official launch of the programs will be done in next month. But we are trying to estimate all the costs of the SQE, our exam fees, as well as the exam fees payable towards Kaplan, just under £10,000 in total. So we're going to make our course really cost effective. So our prep courses for both SQE Stage 1 and SQE Stage 2, just under £6,000 roughly. And the exam fees are just going to be around £4,000 roughly as well. But these costs haven't been determined yet, but we're trying to fit everything under £10,000. And are there any exam centers in India for the QLTS? I'm not sure if there are. I think the nearest one is actually Dubai. You'd have to check on Kaplan's website. Go on their website and maybe go on their list of exam centers worldwide. But I think there are no Pearson VUE test centers that are administering the QLTS MCT. I think the nearest one is actually Dubai, but double check with them first. Check. And there's another question. I'm a corporate lawyer in a law firm in Mumbai, having 30 years experience. Can you suggest me a suitable module for me? What is the total fees? Since you're already a qualified lawyer for a very long time in Mumbai, I would suggest going to the QLTS as soon as possible. And going through our courses no later than, you should sit the MCT no later than July 2021. And we'll have a 3 and 6 month prep course for that. We're also still taking enrollments for our 6-month course, which started at the end of July, until the 4th of September, which is the enrollment deadline for the January 2021 MCT assessments. We'll also have a 3-month prep course for that in October as well this year, which will prepare you also for January 2021. But if you're looking to sit July 2021 MCT, our next 6-month course will begin January 2021. The 3-month prep course will begin in April 2021. So I would suggest going through that, the QLTS, as soon as possible before it's too late. And then you then have 1 year to get through the 2nd stage until May 2022, and then you can apply for admission as a solicitor. What is the duration of the course? The duration of the course is, well, again, our MCT is 3 or 6 months, and our 2nd stage, the OSCE, is 3 months. So in total, 9 months, but if you go for the shorter intense, it can be as short as 6 months. So I hope that answers your question. Of course, for the SQE, there will be different program lengths. So the 1st stage of the SQE will be as long as 40 weeks. It could be as short as 10 weeks. And then the 2nd stage of the SQE Stage 2 will have an 8-week course or a 16-week course. So that will be the duration of those courses, approximately. Yeah, I can send you all the email. I can send you an email, no worries. Thank you. Any other questions? I think that's all the questions that have been asked. So unless anyone has any other questions. Oh, what next? How do we sign up? Thank you. So I'll send you all an email on Monday next week, or Tuesday at the latest. But you can go onto our website on Barbri QLTS, and there'll be an enrollment form there where you can submit an enrollment form and you can sign up onto the course. So you can just go onto our website, Barbri QLTS, and it'll all be there available for you to sign up onto the course. And another question is, I didn't get total fees for qualifying work experience. Well, there's no fee per se for qualifying work experience, or the SRA haven't outlined a particular application fee for qualifying work experience. How it works is you go through the motions of your 2 years of qualifying work experience. You could be working simply under one employer for 2 years. You could be working under various legal employers for 2 years minimum, and you must have that experience signed off by a supervising solicitor in that firm, or if you're doing it in-house, of course. The SRA will, I imagine, outline the procedure on how that's going to work, but they haven't outlined a particular procedure for that yet, nor have they outlined any particular fee for that, for the qualifying work experience. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, thank you all for attending this webinar. Very much appreciate your time. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll be in touch with you all early next week. So thank you very much. Take care.